Jewish groups slam British tourists for unbelievably crass photographs taken at Auschwitz, where Nazis murdered 1.1 million people. Jewish groups have lashed out at unbelievably crass selfies taken by young British tourists at a former Nazi death camp where over 1 million people were murdered. The photographs, which appeared on social media, show visitors smiling and posing at Auschwitz-Birkenau Museum in Poland. One of the images shows a woman lifting up her leg and taking a selfie in front of a display showing hundreds of pairs of shoes taken from children before they were murdered at the camp. Another features a smiling man wearing sunglasses and standing on the camp's railway track, which was used to transport victims in cattle cars, with his hands in his pockets. In the caption, the man, posting as Sam.Long24, explained, "Getting a bit of culture before the stag do starts #Auschwitz #Birkenau #World War II. After being attacked by a fellow Instagram user for wearing cool shades and celebrating 6 million dead, he replied, 1.3 million. That number is close to the estimated 1.1 million inmates murdered at the camp, rather than the 6 million Jews murdered during the Holocaust as a whole." Auschwitz-Birkenau was the largest Nazi concentration camp operated during the Second World War. From 1942 until 1944, cargo trains delivered Jews and other victims to the camp from across German-occupied Europe, with many being gassed to death with the pesticide Zyklon B. Lillian Black, chair of the Leeds-based Holocaust Survivors Friendship Association, HSFA, said she found the pictures deeply hurtful and very wounding. Her own father, Eugene Black, was sent to Auschwitz before being transferred to Bergen-Belsen, the same camp in which Anne Frank died aged 15. Eugene was freed when he was 17, but he had lost his entire family. Lillian said, "People need to think about where they are and take themselves back to that point in time when these camps were the sites of murder and genocide. Think of the thousands of dead emaciated bodies that lay where you are stood. It is offensive to people such as myself, whose grandparents and aunties actually perished in these horrible places. There is no sense of dignity about the selfie. My father and his family went through those gates in cattle trucks. He was fortunate to survive, but his family didn't. There is no understanding of just how terrible these places were. I think the people taking these pictures should stop and reflect on where they are and what happened in these camps. I find it unbelievable." Board of Deputies of British Jews Vice President Marie van der Zel, meanwhile, said, "The selfies are unbelievably crass. If these people had taken some time out first to absorb the absolute horror of Auschwitz, they may have thought twice before posting." The camp was first constructed to hold Polish political prisoners, who began to arrive in May 1940, following the Nazi conquest of Poland. The Nazis later presided over the extermination of those arriving, with the first inmates executed in September 1941. It was finally liberated in January 1945, with 1 in 6 of the Jews murdered during the Holocaust perishing there. The pictures at the center of the dispute also led to shocked comments from other Instagram users. One asked below a photo, "Smiling in this place? Are you sure?" Another said, "Are you kidding with this? Perfect place to take smiley silly photos. Where millions of people were killed. Shame." Others apparently posted hashtags about their fashion choices while at the camp, with one telling followers he was wearing the River Island jacket as he got a friend to take his picture next to a barbed wire fence. One girl was photographed crouching down to take a selfie on the train tracks that were used to ship hundreds of thousands to their deaths on the site in Auschwitz, Poland. About 2 million people visit the camp every year. In 2014, Alabama teen Brianna Mitchell was slammed around the world for taking a smiling selfie with her headphones in at the concentration camp. She later said she didn't regret the snap as she took it in memory of her father, who taught her about the extermination of the Jews. She said, "Honestly, I don't think I would do anything differently, because I didn't mean any harm." Others have been blasted for taking smiling selfies at Ground Zero in New York and taking pictures of themselves doing yoga at the memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe in Germany's capital Berlin.